All right, we're going to start off with, we're going to put the silver down next, and we're going to put the silver stripe that's in the middle of the blue down first. Because of we have to lay this on the blue color, we won't be able to see a pencil tick. All right, now our separation is 5 3/4 of an inch. That's going to be the width of the blue stripe. So because we can't get a pencil tick in there, 5 3/4 of an inch scales out to a small 4. So what we'll do is we'll use the number 4 tape and lay the outside edge of the tape just over the blue line up through here. Down here, it's going to have to be a layout. The only dimension we have is down here, our top down from the bottom of the empennage scales out to a big 17, a small 18. I think the thing to look here is that the silver does not keep the same angle going up as the blue, so it'll be critical to watch that you don't cause the silver to climb at the same rate as the blue. All right, because we laid the 2021 clear urethane over our blue, I had to re-prep the surface to accept new enamel paint. From this point right here, our separation starts to increase in size, so the tape will creep up completely onto the blue from here. Alright, this is our apex of the silver. Okay, here's our apex for the silver right here. Right there's our apex. Okay. Our number back here is a big 17, which is difficult to make out. but it's not that hard when you're that far off. We're off by about 2. I'm going to lay this indicator tape back here to show where I was off. I've got to come lower than this indicator tape. I got to come lower by about 2. Okay. I think we got a flat right here. A little bit more. Okay, that'll give us 17 there. Now we got to get it to wrap around evenly. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. This is a good way to see what burnishing can do for you. See, this tape hasn't been burnished down at all. Okay. Even when I drag my finger hard against it, starts to seat. Oh, when I drag my fingernail or my burnish stick, you can see how it seals. This stripe ends aft of the sixth window. that's where that stripe ends. I need to keep the model as flat as possible so I can make sure I get the right read on the slope of the stripe. Through here we just follow the belly slope, keeping our separation even. And here's where our stripe is going to end. Okay. Separation gets bigger. That does not look right. Our problem starts back here. We didn't increase the size of our separation fast enough. Okay. That's terrible. Okay, we gotta flatten out here. Okay. Here's our apex right here. That's looking better. Left hand. Okay. I think we're correct through here. I think we're off back there. Need to move our apex back a little. Right there. Okay. That feels better. Okay, that feels better. That feels better. Okay, this has got to come up. Dang it. All right, now I think we got it. I think we got it. Yeah, now we got it. Now we're too low. That's better. There we go. There we go. Now we got an even turn. Okay, I'll go with that. Okay, now we have to lay down the body of the silver stripe. You can see that the tip of our silver stripe starts just after the 6th window. All right, our thickness is going to equate down to, it looks like we're going to be a big 2 through here. And what we have to watch is the bottom of the silver stripe does not turn back up at all. It follows straight down through here and goes around. What we have to find is we've got to project where 34 inches is up here from back here. 34 equates out to a 22.5. So we're going to have to broadcast that 22.5 up here somewhere. Is our stripe thickness. Comes to a big 2. It's 3 3/4 of an inch, which equates out to like a 2.2. So we're going to take a number 2 piece of tape and lay it in here really tight. And that'll give us our size through here. Now we have to broadcast this mark back here up to here, and then make sure we come down 22.5 in this direction. Alright, so the bottom edge of this piece of tape needs to stay straight from where the top of our stripe is back here. Easier said than done. 22.5. Right around there. And then we need to take this around. Okay, that's going to be the apex of our piece of tape as it comes around the belly. It's a mark to shoot for. Whether we hit it, the most important thing is we get the stripe, the correct style. Then we need to hit our marks. Just in case you can't see that mark. Okay. And it starts aft of the 6 window back. And if you look really close, you can see we have some pencil windows drawn on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's aft of this stripe. So that's where we want that stripe to start. Okay. We go in with the number 2 tape now because of the turn we have to pull in the back. That looks really good, man. This right here needs to be the apex of that silver stripe. Darn it. Yeah, it's better. That's better. Okay. I think we can just about get there from here. We're off right here a tiny bit. I have to move this edge down from here a little bit. My piece of tape needs to be sitting below that by about a 1. There we go. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Alright, that'll get us there, I think. Okay, that should get us there. Okay, right there's the apex of our turn. We're just going to take this and move it out of the way from this point. Okay, right there's our apex. Well, it doesn't look so hot, does it? That looks better. Okay. Much better. We're just barely at our mark. Okay, that gives me an aim point on this side now. Here is our number 2 tape. Right, needs to come forward. Okay. Our apex is right around here. These curving stripes with very few landmarks are difficult. It can be time consuming. It's a timing thing with moving your hands at the right point. There's our apex. Crud. Yeah, let's see if we can make that work here. Be nice to be able to slide a finger on this. We need to come back further this way. This has to move out. Alright, we gotta decrease the slope right here. Alright, now I have to watch this side of the piece of tape, not this edge. I gotta watch that edge. This edge needs to stay straight. This is actually gonna curl back. I think we can get this. Off right there. Just a tiny little bit right there. Right there. Right there. Darn it. And take some practice to learn what you're watching for. I'm not watching the piece of tape. I'm watching an edge of the tape. I'm not watching the tape itself, because the tape itself changes in size depending on how you look at it. So I'm watching an edge of the tape. I think our problem is right here. That's where our problem is, right there. Right there. Our problem is right here. Right there. I never claimed this would be riveting video. Okay. That's where our problem was, right there. All right. I like that. Now I like that. That's better. That's a lot better. Here we go. Whoop. Don't go anywhere. There we go. Steady. Okay. All right, that should give us our stripe now. Okay, it's going to be very big silver through here. Okay, now we'll put this forward stripe on. I neglected to show you this picture of the silver stripe as it goes around on the belly. Okay, that's the shape. It's not going to have, so this has a different angle curve up here than it does down here. Okay, so I also want to show you that here, these are going to be the silver stripes we're putting on next, and you can see that the tips come out further than the blue. Okay, and then when we put the blue stripes on, they will be in back of the silver and the blue. Okay, so this is the silver stripes we're going to put on. You can see that they go through the windows back here. Okay, so we have to hit these windows where this window is going to be sitting right on the blue. Most of the silver stripe, or all of it, will be in this window, and just the top edge of the silver stripe will hit that window. All right, the separation we have through here is 2 3/4, which would be a small 2. We'll lay it down with the number 4 tape, and we'll put a little bit more than half of the number 4 tape up onto the blue to give us our white separation. I tried to pull in really tight here so you can see the pencil marks of the windows that I have on here. Okay, you can see how we laid just the tip of that number 4 green tape over the blue. Again, we have number 2 small 2 separation here, so we're going to use the number 4 tape again, and we're going to put the majority, just over half of the number 4 tape onto the blue. You may have noticed that I still have blue overspray on here. That's because I didn't get it cleaned off in time, and I'm going to probably have to polish that off because of the 2021 urethane that's laying over the top of it. Again, here I'm watching the outside edge of my tape, not the tape itself. The inside edge is going to curl in this direction. I want to make sure I keep the outside edge going in the true line that I want. Okay, now because of the roll of the fuselage, the white separation gets larger from here forward because of the roll of the fuselage and needing to keep this edge in the correct angle. Okay. Now from this viewpoint, it looks like that white separation stays the same size as it comes all the way down through there. But when you roll the aircraft, all right, we're well over the halfway point off this blue. We got a little cleanup to do down here, this blue belly. We'll handle that in a couple days. Okay, our stripe ends 34 inches after the nose. That's going to equate out to a strong 25. Okay, that's our strong 25. We carry it around. And that right there is going to be the end of our stripe. Okay. Okay, the thickness of our stripe we have through this area from about the third window back to just behind the main entry door, and it's going to be a strong, it's 3.5 inches, which would make it a strong 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some number 2 indicator tape in there to go by and line it up very close to that tape, and that'll give us our strong 2. I've often wondered if a normal person would have to use tweezers like this. Okay, now I suspect that the stripe right through at this right here where this indication is going to be larger than 2 because of the roll of the fuselage. We'll see when we get there. Okay, so I got that in as tight as I can get it there. Alright, our stripe starts 31 inches or 20 off the back of this window. Alright, so that's the start of this tape in the back. Again, we're going to use the number 4 here. It can make it, going in this direction, it can make it easier to pull the curved stripe here instead of the number 2 tape would far too easily give me the curve that I want, and I want to be able to, I want to fight to get that curve in there. I don't want the tape to go in easily because that would actually end up throwing off the stripe, I think. I've probably done it both ways though. And that's not long enough. I am working from this center back, lining it up like this right at the beginning. I apologize for the jump cut here. The card on the GoPro was full. Okay, finally. you like to keep your tape trimmed up and sitting flat so that when you go to pull it off, you control in which order the tape comes off instead of it. That's why you see me going back and burnishing my edges down. Alright, now we transition to the new direction. There we go. Now we begin to flatten out. Again, here's another example on how our white separation appears to stay the same size. But when you roll it up and look, you can see how much bigger it's been getting. Okay? And we appear to be at the same point on both sides, which is what we want. Okay. Look down it like this. Okay, they both appear to be, they both appear to be staying flat. Okay. This here, that's going to be the end point of this side, stripe on this side. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, another look in height where you can see the windows that have been drawn on and how they are starting to lighten a bit because my hand's rubbing back and forth on it. But our stripe here starts at 20 off the back of our back window. I seem to have misplaced my scale. Okay, go back to the old-fashioned one here. All right. So we want a 20, 30 seconds, which reading backwards would make it a 12 right here. Okay. That is the rear end. That is the end of the stripe to the aft. Okay. Let's give ourselves another 2 pieces of number 2 tape as our indicators for our size. Again, these stripes are a strong 2. I think they're 3 3/4 inches on the airplane. And because of the place they're going in on the fuselage, they will actually be laid out a little bit larger. Okay. So there's 1 piece indicator. And our second piece. Okay. Okay, we'll start with our tape like this. Again, we'll start at our number 2. All right. There's our apex, right about there. And this looks pretty bad. All right. Okay, that looks pretty bad. If you look and see my transition here, it's not smooth. It doesn't flow. Some of this has to do with, the hand that has functioning fingers compared to the hand that doesn't have functioning fingers is how I can lay it out. We're going to have to work in this direction here. All right, let's try a time. That's better. It may appear that I'm lifting it up to put it back in exactly the same spot, but I'm not. We're just working with some very, very small sizes, and it can be difficult to make out, especially on camera. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can get you in close enough to see the difference in the size there. Okay, you can see that with that indicator tape there being a number 2, you can see that I'm strong of where I want to be at this point. I think I should be closer to the tape. When we get to the next piece of tape down here, at that point we'll want to be we'll want to be stronger than we are here. So we're gonna pick this up. What you're looking at there is about that size that you're looking at there is probably about 1/28 of an inch. It would be about I think it would be about 1/4 of a millimeter. Okay. Let's put it back up here. Right. I'm gonna roll the model a little bit this time, so it's gonna appear a little bit different because we're not looking straight on. You're looking at an oblique angle. Again, I'm looking at the bottom edge of this top piece of tape. That bottom edge of the top piece of tape is what's going to create the top of my silver stripe. In this area here now, I'm actually holding my tape perpendicular to the surface. The tape, or I'm holding it down here, I'm actually holding it in this direction, laying it in, not in this direction. I'm actually holding it flat, and that helps me to control the bottom edge of this piece of tape. Right here is where the fuselage starts to fall away. That's the reason why this stripe gets bigger at that point. When you view it from the side, it doesn't appear to be that way, but when you view it like that, It does. Okay. You can see how long we came on that one. They're still too far off. I think we're narrowing down a little bit too quickly. Let's try this. Alright. Our problem is right here. This bottom piece of tape, the top edge of this bottom piece of tape is canting back up a tiny little bit here, which is causing our stripe to squeeze down too quickly. Alright, so we need to pull up that piece of tape, which is right here. Okay. Let's get this one out of the way. Okay. And this right here has to come down a little bit. Alright, I don't know if I can get this on camera or not. Right there, at the end of that knife, that's where the piece of tape used to be. So I moved it down about 1/32 of an inch. Alright, back here it hasn't moved, but right there we brought it down about 1/32 of an inch, and I think that's what we need to get this top piece of tape with the bottom edge of it, the one that gives us the top edge to our silver stripe. No, that looks terrible. Our problem is right back here. That's where our problem is. We need to come out a little bit from there. I apologize for that. David's calling, probably wanting to know what we're doing at work tomorrow, and I'll have to give him a call back. All right, now we're in the ballpark. Now we're in the ballpark. There we go. There we go. See, when you look down, it's very difficult to line the camera up here, but when you look down it, it should almost appear to be a mirror image. We are very, very close here. Very close. I think we're going to keep this, and if needed, we can touch it up after the stripe is shot. Okay. So again, we're going to make sure we can control the ends of our tape here. Okay. Let's pull out our indicators. Starbuck, hush. Daddy's working. Okay. Well, I don't know how happy I am with this right through here. I am not happy with it. All right, let's see if we can do this. We're gonna have to do this the difficult way too, with the wrong hand. All right, let's give ourselves a line up here. And we're gonna wanna drop down below the line I just put on there. It's probably gonna be less than a 64th of an inch, but there's arch here that I don't want. No. Come on, Steve, keep it together. All right, what I'm finding is there's a bump right here. And I think it's the blue belly that's causing that to be off a little bit. We're talking about less than a 64th of an inch. I think we're gonna have to, I'm gonna pull up our lower piece of tape here and see about getting that out of there. Let's see if that helped. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right, we're going to lay out our top stripe on top of our vertical. We'll lay out the bottom edge of the stripe first. We got a measurement of 8 inches, so we'll be about 5.5 down, and then we have a measurement of 47 3/4 inches. That's also down from the bottom of the SATCOM, and 47 3/4 comes out to basically an inch. It's like 31.9, so it's 1 inch. Okay, we'll take that measurement here and bring it down and then transfer it over. Okay, so the bottom of this stripe is about at 5.5. It's going to be right about there. Okay, and then the forward portion is at 1 inch. So what we'll do is we try to make all our dimensions, like something like this, as close to one another as possible. So I will give me an indication right there of 1 inch. And then I will broadcast it straight. Basically, it's running parallel to the top surfaces of the horizontals. Okay. And we got ourselves a mark there. Okay. We're going to lay this out with number 4 tape. And we don't have a lot to go on as far as the size of this stripe. We know where the back of it is vertically, and we know where the front of it is vertically. The only thickness dimension that we have for this stripe is right back here, which is 8 inches, and that's what equates down to the 5.5. All right, now. I'm just trying to, where I have the tape now needs to be higher than what I have. I just put in that quick line right there to make sure I mount a little bit higher than it this time. Okay. All right. Okay. It goes fairly steeply through here and then starts to come over a bit. And that looks terrible. Basically the tape is bent right there. That's it. That's all I ended up with. Straight line from here to there and a straight line from there to there. Okay. I need to reset the angle of the tape in the beginning. It needs to be steeper. I don't know if you can see it, but there's our 1 inch or number 32 mark. All right. All right. Okay. All right. It appears that right about here is where our angle starts to come in. All right, what I'm trying to do is I want the left end coming up at about the same amount of movement as I want the right hand coming down. All right. We're nice through here, but you can see that it just kind of headed straight from there. All right. Missed our mark. It's better. It's just we're off by a 1. All right, that is a nice flow. We're gonna put in some indicator right there. Let's see if I can get you guys a little closer here. Again, nice, but not enough. One more time. No way. Uh, we're off right here. That's where our problem is. We hit our mark, but there's too much change here. We need to smooth that out a bit. I said it's a timing between the two hands. Well, we got our mark. I'm looking down the trailing edge. This just isn't something that I can line up on the camera. But I'm looking down the trailing edge, and I'm watching to see that I don't have any sharp changes in the direction on the upper edge of our piece of tape. We don't look at the bottom piece. We don't look at the bottom edge. We're only judging the top edge. And I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that. All right, now this stripe does not go all the way around. They both end at the leading edge. They don't touch each other from side to side. I'm still going to line them both up as if they were touching each other. Okay, so when we come to the other side, we're not going to remeasure on the other side. We're going to use where our pieces of tape are. On the other side, we're going to line up our piece of tape with this piece of tape. We're going to line up this end of the tape with this end, okay? You'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, another little bit of blue overspray to clean off. Okay, we're going to use the angle of this piece of tape to line up our other. And we're going to use that same pencil mark. We're just going to make sure we can see it over here a little bit easier. Okay. Come on, Steve, concentrate. Okay. Now again, because of my hands, I'm not able to do it in the same motion as I did on the other side. So I have to, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm off by just, I'm not getting lined up here. Let's see how we do here. We're not even close. I can tell you that because if you spin the model around and look, this piece of tape, oh, that's surprising how close I got it. When you look at it from this direction, it should appear that this part of the tape is just an extension of that, and boy, it does. Same thing back here too. That's really surprising. It's too high, but it's far closer than what I thought. All right, when you look at it like this, all right, so I'm having problems with the battery on the GoPro, so I'm gonna have to skip through this kind of quickly. You can see that I just about have this lined up. I'll put on my upper piece of tape, I'll mask it off, and shoot it. So we're just going to bounce through here relatively quickly. So here we are with our upper pieces of tape on, which create our stripe on both sides. Okay. When we look down it in this way, it should have an appearance of level from side to side. And then the same thing from the reverse. Very difficult to get on a GoPro. Okay, I will mask it off now. Okay, so here we are, all masked back. We are shooting metallic silver, non-metallic. Okay, so this has been painted. I've already untaped the tail. I'm going to untape the rest of the fuselage. I'm going to do it as quick as I can because of the battery time here. So I'm going to move you well back out of the way and up. You won't get quite as good look, but you will see me take off the tape.
idea from Common Sense Media.
Before the trading floor opens, before business begins, more investors are starting their day smart with Maria Bartiromo. Mornings with Maria has the powerful conversation and pre-market expertise that's made it the fastest growing business show in the morning. And all throughout the business day, people are turning to Fox Business Network to profit from experience. Our team is tackling the issues affecting the nation and your economic future. More Americans are making the smart choice and choosing the fastest growing network on cable, Fox Business Network. In his short time at the Lyman Correctional Facility, Timothy Schreiber has done
Sorry. Okay, there we go. Tomorrow we will put on the two white separations onto the belly. I believe we can do them both at the same time, depending on what the separation between the two is. I think it's about a 2, so we should be able to squeeze it in there. All right. So, until tomorrow, have a good night.